Alrighty. We might have the technology.
Just.
Not yet confirmed whether we have the technology or not, but we might have the technology. Oh, there's even like blockers in the camera and everything.
2 whole viewers.
Oh, baby.
Is that us?
Are we drunk? I feel like we're drunk.
A little bit.
Chat, tell us if we're drunk.
He's.
Welcome people slowly but surely dripping in.
Yeah.
This is the Tom was in Ireland this weekend playing a regional
Northern
there.
Ireland.
Northern Ireland. Look, I'm not gonna say it, but it's all the same place.
Controversial statement.
Dan continues to be MIA, so just us two. We're going to be discussing all of the YCS events from this weekend, and then bringing you some more live duels, just as we piddle away with the format until FNL season.
Yes, which probably Monday before London, because why would you give us a list before the week of the YCS?
We'll talk about it later. The important thing is I do have a card.
Oh no. Monstacado. Doro Monstacado?
Doro Montacado.
Okay, so it's a main deck monster.
Yes. It is
for those of you wondering who don't understand that card.
It is a monster that you can draw from your main deck.
Yes. Level 4 or lower.
No.
Okay. Level 8 or higher.
It is not Link Slayer. Yes, level 8 or higher.
Level 8 or higher. Okay. Dark or light.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So dark.
No.
Okay. So it is a light monster that is level 8 or higher.
It's not Gizmag.
It's
That's Tom's card. I
hate
hate Gizmag. Cards of vanilla. Why? I like cards that do things.
It has text.
It doesn't have text. Stop it. 2450, 2450, do nothing.
Can it be normal summon a set?
No.
This is a question from the chat. Thanks, Imagine Wagon.
Cannot be normal summon or set. Still not.
What was it printed? Yeah, I'm gonna say BLS.
Maybe.
Like, is it BLS Envoy of the Beginning?
It is.
Yeah, I was like literally when it was like level 8 cannot be normal summon set, I thought of that, and then Imagine Wagon said it. It's like now that he said it in the chat, I can't not say it. So yeah, thanks, Imagine Wagons, you got me.
It's just my favorite card ever.
Yeah, so we're still letting people sleep.
Okay, I have a less guessable card.
Okay. Still Monstacado.
Still Monstacado.
Still Doro Monstacado?
Still Doro Monstacado.
Okay, good. Level 4 or lower.
Yes.
Light and or dark.
Yes.
Dark.
Yes.
Okay, so level 4 lower dark monster in your main deck.
Yes.
Printed pre-Xyz.
First printed.
Yeah, first printed.
Yes.
First printed pre-Xyz. Okay. Printed in Synchro era. Like 5Ds.
No.
No. Okay. So Armageddon Knight. Pretty good guess.
No, Armageddon.
Okay, so no.
I've always been a mathematician guy, to be honest. Armageddon Knight is just taking all the glory.
Effect special monster from deck. We'll take
No.
Okay. So
Like, it was printed pre-Xyz, so none of them do anything.
Graphers.
Funnily enough, there are more
Yeah.
cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That were printed pre-Xyz era, other than the 3 that are still played in today Yu-Gi-Oh!
Can it be bottomless?
No.
Okay, so less than 15. Level 4 lower dark monster printed pre-Xyz, printed in the Synchro era. Was that
Not printed.
Oh, not printed. Okay, so it's printed pre-Synchros. Yeah, that's why I was starting to get. So, original series. First printing.
Yes.
First printed as super rare or higher.
No.
Okay. Common.
No, I don't even know if phone being from everything.
Is it... someone's guessed Cyberjar. Has it ever been on the FNL list?
Yes.
Okay. It has been at some point on the FNL list. Is it a flip effect monster?
No.
Okay. That is...
Rules out all the jars.
Yeah, rules out all the jars,
Magician
Knight
of Fate,
Assailant, and like... I was like, I'm gonna...
a reasonable amount of them.
Yeah. Witch has been guessed in the chat?
Nope.
Okay.
No, nor scientist.
Norse. I like how you're just like, no, it's not
Well,
scientist.
a scientist was in chat as well.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I missed that. Does it have an effect that special summons at all?
No.
Okay. It's been on the FNL list. Level 4 or dark, less than 1500.
Not yet, nor Cyberstein.
And it was first printed as a rare or lower. Rare or common. Sangan?
Still
Still nothing. Is it level 4?
no.
Level 3?
Yes.
Okay, so level 3 Dark Monster.
Yes.
Printed in OG series of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm-hmm.
With
With
less cannot be bottom list.
And has been on the FNL list.
Has been on the FNL list. What's been on the FNL list?
A lot of cards.
Guys, chat, help me out.
Most of them dark.
Yeah, that's the issue. Blank.
Not blank.
Please help chat. Chat, help me.
They've forsaken you.
Reviewing information we know so far. Level 3 Dark Monster that has been on the FNL list. First printed as a rare or below in the original series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Does it search for a monster? Good question.
No.
So it doesn't search.
Old cards didn't search the deck.
Except for Sangan and Witch, which we've already said. Oh,
True.
Adam Sullivan. Kuribrohs.
No.
That's not actually a valid guess because Kuribrohs was first printed as a super.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah. But good try. Kuribrohs is a very good guess on this channel.
Clear Kuribo does. I just don't know.
Does it have less than 1,000 or less attack?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, and it's not a flip effect monster. We know this. For the person who just guessed Knight Assailant, because that was a card that I specifically wanted to rule out. Oh yeah. So we technically haven't asked if it's an effect monster, but I believe it must be an effect monster because I'm pretty sure the only normal monsters from that era that have been on the FNL list are the Exodia pieces, and they were first printed as ultras.
Yeah.
So they don't. Oh. Zeon. Yeah. Spirit Reaper.
Spirit Reaper is correct.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, yeah, of course it has.
Spirit Reaper is my boy.
Yeah, good job, Zeon. Okay, so.
Well, Sev, not even interacting with Twitch chat, bypassing YouTube chat, bypassing this entirely to message on Facebook. Cheating. Terrible.
Yeah, shout out to Seb for not just guessing with the rest of
Not
it.
partaking.
But thank you.
Alright, so welcome all to the stream. We obviously have some cool stuff to talk about from this weekend. Been another in the long list of YCSs.
Because this format needed 4 YCSs.
America.
Didn't they just have one?
Look, like we're not complaining as
It's
absorbers.
It's
of
really
content.
cool. They got 1,300 players, which for American YCS is actually quite big.
Yeah.
Because
for sure.
they have more of them, so they just don't get as many as we do in Europe.
Yep.
On average.
Yeah, like if you're a European player, then you make you take every opportunity to play in all of the big events that you can, including flying ridiculous places just to play large regionals.
Yeah.
And in America, you have 400 regionals a season in your back door, which are all going to be multiple hundred players, and YCS is coming out the wazoo, so
Yeah.
just a different perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was obviously concluded yesterday, and we saw a pretty dominant performance from a couple decks.
Striker and Orcus.
Who'd have thought?
I've never heard of these decks before.
So yeah, I believe Orcust and Striker collectively took something like 25 places in the top 32.
Yeah,
There's a
Striker was, I think, bordering on half.
sure.
Like, in fact, it might even have been one half. I think it might have been like 17 Striker or something like that.
Yates.
Yeah.
And like collectively the Orcust.
I had a breakdown.
Assuming we like group the Orcust variants together,
Yeah.
which I think we can relatively safely do.
I had a breakdown somewhere.
There was only like 6, 7, or 8 other decks. But of the other decks, so we saw 2 different Mech Knight variants. We saw traditional Mech Knight Invoked,
Okay, sir.
which was just hard go in second, play a lot of hand traps, including Nibiru, and then kill you. And we saw pure Mech Knight, which I didn't believe was a real deck. And I know was a very good deck in OCG land for quite a long time. But it was really cool to see that deck sort of come over to the TCG and to put up a real performance. And then on top of that, not 1, but 2 True Draco Striker decks. Which,
Alec, how do you feel?
I didn't see that coming. Let me tell you that. My understanding on those lists is they were playing very much like a pure Striker deck, just with the True Draco cards as extra interaction or extra removal. The one deck that I've seen was playing a very, very heavy Striker lineup, to the point where they wanted 3 of the field spell, and then had multiple Shard Cannons and a few other utility pieces. They were playing like upwards of 15 Striker cards. So that was playing a very heavy Striker deck, along with enough True Draco stuff to make the Draco stuff work. Which looks like it's the way to do it, I believe. But I wouldn't be surprised if both lists were doing the same thing. I know the deck that did quite well at our YCS a couple weeks ago was also on the same plan. No demise, no nothing like that. And choosing first, to my knowledge. So yeah, that was cool to see. Like, we definitely weren't expecting those to come up. It's nice to see road decks not only doing well as one-ofs, but like a good conglomerate of them also doing well. I believe there are 2 salad decks also getting tops.
3.
3. Okay.
I've got the breakdown now. So it was 13 Striker,
Nice.
12 Orcust, 4 Lunalight, 4 Cyber, 2 Lunalight, 1 Thunder.
Yep.
Of those Orcust, and then the rest pure.
Yep.
Then 3 Salad, 2 Thunder, 1 Mech Knight, 1 Ultrageist.
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah, the 25 is a reasonable number for the top 2 decks.
Yep.
So shout out to our boy Raph Nevin getting second place at another event.
Yep. Sadly, not his 3rd win, but
and not playing Lunalights again,
yeah.
which would have been pretty cool.
Yeah. Instead, he was just playing the pure Orcust deck. He played Link Slayer. That was cool.
Yep. He was saying in his profile he didn't like Dangers because he wanted to play a whole bunch of good fair cards. Just the reason to play pure Orcust is playing hand traps and generic cards like Cosmic Cyclone, and Dangers really don't mix well with that plan. So he just wanted guaranteed extenders that didn't discard random cards from his hand. So Link Slayer is what he settled on, and it seemed like a good choice. Like red layer that has discard cards, destroy multiple back row seems a reasonable card.
Yeah.
All-Star and Cube. That's as much of my knowledge of Link Slayer is.
The winners deck, Ramiro Garcia, by the way, back-to-back YCS wins. I think the last time we saw that happen was Billy Bray.
Yeah.
So,
it's kind of unreal.
Kind of insane.
Who
that
the
man is.
South American player that went on a tear recently with Striker?
I don't know who you're talking about.
I think won like the 3v3 YCS, and then their version of Nat.
Chat, help out. I'm not good with all the South American players.
I believe specifically YCS's. He plays for E-Man. Specifically YCS, I think Billy Brake is the only person that comes to mind as back-to-back, which is unreal. And he only did it twice, to be fair.
Did he win the South American UDS and then a YCS or something like that?
It's something along those lines.
Paulo Gonzalez, that man.
Yeah.
Gonzalez, rather.
Cool. So the question that a lot of people will be asking now is, looking forward into the not YCS season, or at least like 1 or 2 weeks we don't have a YCS, is there going to be an FNL list anytime soon?
Yes.
For those who don't know, the no sooner than date for our current FNL list is next Monday.
So a week from today.
13th?
14.
14. Somewhere.
Week today.
A week today. And all of us in Europe are going to be, or a lot of us in Europe are going to be playing YCS at the end of this month in 3 weeks' time. In YCS London. So the question for us is, are we going to expect a new FNL list between then? And yeah, the performances recently from the YCSs, I feel, have been getting more polarizing towards the meta. We've had this like wide open format we've been talking about a lot in these TKB lives.
But now it's pretty solid. Like, you should be playing either Striker or a variant of Orcust. And sure, there are lots of variants of Orcust, but
they all kind of polarize to the same-ish thing. Just some of them play more extenders, like the Moonlight cards, or some of them play fair cards. I'm not plugged in. Cool.
So
we set up all this stuff, and then it just didn't plug in the phone.
Here.
Yep, nailed it.
So
I'm sorry. Ignore the earthquake.
Yeah, but I think that literally there are kind of two hits that I definitely expect, and one other that needs to happen.
Yep.
The 2 hits I'd expect is Engage to 1 and Mermaid banned.
Yep.
And then LP needs to also be banned, but there's a good chance they won't because Guard Dragons haven't been doing a whole lot. But.
Sure. Because like we very much started this format on 4 decks. It seems like a very long time ago, given how many events there have been. But we had Orcust at the time was mostly just pure Orcust, to be honest. We had Striker, as we know and love it, and then we had Thunder, the kind of pure deck that came out of Worlds and the European Championship, the sort of Worlds qualifier events, the big hand trap lineup, going back to Allure and Gold Sarcophagus, maybe playing Twin Twitchers, that kind of stuff, and playing like 3 of every Thunder Dragon card. So that was gaining traction. There was still also the Wombo combo Danger Crusadia Thunder deck rolling around, and then we had Salamangreat. And as the meta has progressed, and given the release of Nibiru and the other promos, but really just Nibiru, Salamangreat seems like it's completely fallen off a cliff. It seems like it's just not consistent or powerful enough, and also loses to Nibiru, which is realistically in like most people's 55.
Yeah, maybe not some of the Striker lists just because they clog zero main monsters in, but even some of them are playing it.
Yeah.
This is just that impactful.
And realistically, it's in a good amount of main decks. I know Raph Nevin was playing it in his main deck, in a going first deck, just because it is that powerful and that kind of decisive when you get to activate it. So yeah, for all intents and purposes, we've seen that deck just fall off a cliff, and Thunder really just hasn't gained any traction in the current format.
Yeah.
And I think a large part of that is because Orcust has such a favorable matchup against Colossus. The deck fundamentally doesn't search at all. Like, none of its core engine searches, meaning it doesn't run into the Colossus being a good card against it, and it has very easy outs to Colossus in Girsu.
And some of them are playing other ways as
sometimes long Girsu, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Thunder Dragon and also Striker, it's always been a weird kind of Thunder matchup where sometimes they just blow you out and get to Widow Ankle your stuff, and sometimes they just lose because Colossus is a good card. So, and sometimes there can be only one new.
Yeah, so it's not even like a guaranteed win against Striker.
So it just seems like it's not been particularly well placed. So we have very much polarized to a 2-deck format, and the question is, what would we like to see hit? I think, on your point earlier, Engage and Mermaid are the 2 sort of very obvious hits. They're the sort of ground zero.
We've kind of realized that Striker, funnily enough, you can hit Kagari, you can hit multi-roll, and if you leave Engage, it's just still that.
Yeah. The most polarizing thing about Striker is the games that it draws Engage versus the games that it needs to find Engage some other way. Like the games where it needs to it needs to Full of Feral Goods and then Kagari it back, fine. We can live with that all day long. The games where it needs to attack you with Hayate and then red to add it back, totally fine. The games where opens Engage really suck. The games are so different that I feel hitting Engage to at least 2, if not 1, just to reduce the percentage chance of people opening with Engage, would significantly hamper that deck to the
Yeah.
point where it would become significantly less playable as like a pure deck.
It would still see play, I think.
Like the engine is still
Yeah,
strong.
like-
It still has good individual
Yeah.
cards. It's just the world of pure striker being a thing. I feel like it's been out for so long now. It's
Like,
been out for like 15
I am
months or
bored of
something.
playing Striker at this point. I love Striker, but I just want a reason to play a different deck
Everything else.
at a major event. At the moment, I don't see any reason for me not to play Striker because it's just the best control deck, and I want to play a control deck.
And in my eyes, I feel like Striker puts format building in a really awkward place. Like when you're sitting down and trying to figure out what you want to do with your deck, you're trying to figure out what combos, what end boards you want to end on. You go, this is a really good end field. You're looking at like Dingirsu plus Winda. You're like, this is really cool, but it can never beat Striker. And when we were playing our original Orcus deck before Dingirsu was even released
Oh god.
with rank up magic, we were like,
This-
turning off people's ability to play monster effects. Really good. Except against Striker when they open engage. And then you still just lose.
Yeah.
So like it makes the format really polarized to where you can't try and beat everything. And it sort of it hates out a lot of decks, which means that the format becomes very polarized about two different poles. I don't know if that makes sense. But,
Yeah. And then on the other side of that, we have Orcust, which is just the combo. Like, there isn't another combo. Because even your other combos are just, they get to two monsters at some point that they're just going to make into an Orcust.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for them not to do that. So.
Yeah. And the big problem that I see with it now is people have realized that it is very splashable. And any deck that is putting monsters on the board realistically should have 2 Nightmare, 1 Symbols, 1 Harp, 1 Counter Trap at like a bare minimum, because it generates so much free advantage, and it's a way of audibling. If your normal combo gets interrupted, then you can just put your last 2 monsters into a Nightmare, and then you're just guaranteed to end on resources in grave, Counter Trap behind, and things to do next turn.
And the thing is, Ding also protects stuff. So, like, if you have kind of otherwise vulnerable pieces of your combo, they get protected. Like, you can't just summon Pancratops and attack over something. Like, Ding invalidates Pancratops and invalidates MST for the counter trap and Twin Twisters. It invalidates, like, Raigeki and Darkhole as, like, ways of just clearing the big monster boards with no spell negates.
Yeah. And on the reverse, Dingirsu also has invalidated a lot of otherwise good monsters. We were talking about Avramax as a card, which could realistically come back in a world where there's not nearly as much Dingirsu. Cards that cannot be targeted are much better when the best deck or one of the 2 best decks doesn't have a free answer to it. So
I think it's interesting that Orcust isn't one deck. Like, we see Luna Orcust, we see the Pure deck, we see Cyber Orcust, and they're all valid decks, and they're all doing well. We even saw, like, a Thunder Orcust. We've seen, like, all sorts of different things, because you can just put it in anything.
And we've gone to the stage where even, like, the Crusadia Thunder deck, that is just randomly splashing 3 Orcust cards, because if you ever get to any of it, or you ever get to the stage where your combo has 2 dead pieces on board, then your 2 link materials suddenly become 5 link materials.
Yeah.
It's just one of those kind of, if you're playing monsters and most of them are dark, then why not? And especially, we have IP Macarena, or Mascarena, or whatever her TCG name is coming out.
The Macarena.
Yeah. For people that don't know, in Cyber Impact, Chaos Impact, which I believe sneak peeks are next weekend.
This weekend coming. It releases the Thursday before London. That much I know.
Yeah, the set will be legal for YCS. That's the important part.
Yeah.
Ultra rare confirmed in that set is IP Mascarena, which is a generic link to. It might have some restrictions like nightmare names, might not be able to use tokens, but generic link to, has good arrows, down, left, down, right. And its effect is during your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect link using it and 1 other monster. And that, and she herself is dark. And that all of that package is very important because it means that Orcus decks can suddenly make non-dark things in their opponent's turn. So you do your Orcus combo, and
So
you
like
get
you
locked
just start
into
your
darks.
opponent's turn by going Appaloosa.
Yes. So suddenly, Orcus decks get access to Appaloosa. Orcus decks also get access to more interaction on their opponent's turn by just being able to quick link into Phoenix, Cerberus, Unicorn, any of those guys. Suddenly you can do cool things with Bomber Dragon to set it up where people weren't expecting. A lot of stuff like that where Orcus as a dark restriction kind of mechanic that's kind of invalidated by the fact that IP Masquerena comes out and lets you do a lot of this stuff on your opponent's turn, which sounds really cool, and there will be a lot of very interesting and cool things you can do with it, but isn't necessarily a world I want to live in. It just seems like it's too free.
Yeah. Basically, I think Orcus would still exist as a deck even if you banned Mermaid, because like all of the pieces play together. I played it for World Championship Celebration. Obviously, that deck had Bardiche, but like you can play it without Bardiche. In fact, originally I didn't realize he was legal for World Championship, and I tested a list without him, and I just wasn't expecting him to exist.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he did, and I was like, okay, obviously I'm gonna play him, but like
you're not gonna not.
yeah, but like Orcus is just a deck that could exist without that. It's just it can't be splashed in absolutely everything.
And I think that's the biggest point is banning Mermaid means that you either need to play Orcus the deck or Lunalight the deck. You can't just play Lunalight with
The
Orcus
engine.
because why wouldn't you put Orcus?
Because it's not even really a Lunalight deck. Lunalight's just a means to rank 4s.
I mean, yeah, but like Lunalight would be their
Yeah.
own deck if they needed it.
Exactly.
Like they have a bunch of good cards. They have
We've
fusion
seen
stuff,
we've seen Lunalights do good things.
yeah, and obviously Rathnam obviously showed us that the Lunalight decks the cards are really, really good.
Yes.
So
Yes, they are.
like, yeah, I think the banning of Mermaid would stop it being splashed, and I think that's the most important thing that we would look going into a new format where you need to play actual Orcus with lots of like the level 1 tuner guy, and your combo is about getting Nightmare cards out of getting Orcus cards out of your deck with Armageddon Knight, Recycler, Mathematician, that kind of stuff, Foolish Burial, normal summoning them, hard drawing multiples, using the level 1 to special summon more copies from your hand, actually playing an Orcus deck rather than an Orcus engine. Which I feel would balance that deck significantly and bring it more in line with what we would want from a healthy format.
Yeah, and I think looking forward, assuming we get literally just the 2 hits, the Engage and the Mermaid, obviously it depends what else they would hit, but the format, the issue is that I don't think Chaos Impact really introduces a lot of new things to the format.
Not to my knowledge.
It introduces a couple of cool themes. Hakai or Unchained, I think they're called now.
I'm not gonna lie, I think Unchained might secretly be broken. They're really, really good cards.
So
they can never beat Striker, and that's like that's a phrase we've been saying for like a year now. But the ability to quick link with your opponent's monsters multiple times in your opponent's turn seems really, really good.
Yeah, and they have real text.
They're rank 4 in like simplified game states.
Link 4? They have a rank 4?
Link 4.
Okay, Link 4. You said rank 4.
I don't know. They're Link 4. It says destroy like 40 times on that card. It's like, if another card destroys a thing, destroy a thing. If you get to your end phase, if either player's end phase, destroy another thing. And if anything gets destroyed by battle, destroy a third thing. Just every turn. It's really good. And then you reborn him from graveyard from the spell, or I think also one of the traps. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
So, and you summon him really easily with multiple of your opponent's monsters. It's just like, I think that deck has a lot of legs. Unfortunately, like 90% of that deck is now secret rare. So,
and the deck comes out the Thursday before London. Yeah. So good luck.
Yeah.
But it's also doing. But yeah, there's the Marine Cess cards in the new set as well.
Yeah.
Why their Link 1 doesn't say search a Marine Cess spell or trap is beyond me. They have one spell, it's the field spell, it's trash.
You need to play it. It's very important in the like making a towers.
like
So your Link 4 only gets like mega immunity to battle if it has multiple materials.
multiple equips.
Yeah, equips.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the equips like give it like 600 attack or 800 attack.
Yeah. The issue with
Something like that.
Marine Cess is simply that.
It plays a lot of garnets.
Well, it plays a lot of garnets, and it doesn't play any ways to get to its good trap cards because it does have a couple of cool ones. I think it has a breakthrough skill. It's sort of like that, a theme breakthrough skill that you can activate from hand.
I didn't know about any of these. I just know it has one card combo that makes a really big towers.
Yeah, it makes a big monster.
It has like no other deck, but it has one good starter for its combo. And if you draw that starter, the deck is broken. And if you don't draw that starter, the deck does nothing.
Yeah,
so,
but
it literally has a net to this.
The deck is fun, but
like it could be good. I haven't tested it at all. I haven't really given it the time of day. But of reading the cards, the only one that actively does things is Blue Tang, which is secret in the next set. And if you're good at drawing that card in the same way that you were good at drawing Swap Frog, then you'll really like the deck. And if you don't draw Swap Frog, then you're not gonna have a good time.
So it's that kind of. So other than that, there's just not a lot in this set, really.
Yeah, there's the big rock guy. That's like.
Wait, Nibiru?
No, a different big rock guy. To be fair, there is the rank 4 that searches Nibiru.
Oh yeah, there's the rank 4 that searches Nibiru.
Which is definitely a relevant thing. If we don't see an FNL list before then Luna Orchest will get a significant upgrade by being able to go first and make a rank 4 that searches Nibiru, and then do Orchest combo. And if it gets stopped, it has Nibiru in hand. And if it doesn't get stopped, then it has Nibiru in hand, and the ability to do the whole, like, Nibiru chain your Orchest effect from graveyard, locking you into dark. Nibiru doesn't summon, but attributes the entire field thing. So that would be a very scary prospect if that comes to light and we don't get an FNL list before then. Yeah, there's a cool side deck guy. It's like a level 8 rock flip effect that if your opponent does anything, you just special him from hand face down, and his flip effect is destroy 2 cards your opponent controls.
That's cute. Don't hate him.
He has seen a bit of play in side decks in OCG land in the fairer formats. I'd need to reread the card to be honest, but on paper it has a lot of good text, so that's a card I'm kind of interested in. And IP Masquerade is the only big.
Chat's pointing out some other things that are in the set. Striker Dragon's obviously cool. But I would hope this list bans LP because otherwise Dragon Link is like a variable deck again, and that deck is actually silly. So and also LP would be a very good hit to Pendulum. Aggro-Pain's the other one you can ban, one of the two. But we're going to use LP for our example. So Striker Dragon significantly worse in the world without God Dragons.
Granted.
So we, it could still do things, especially if LP is the one that gets banned and not Agapain. Because then it can still do Agapain things, which might very well be very good.
I think that I've thought about this a lot more, and I think that banning LP is the correct one. Just because being able to LP into Brotor into Levenir is still very, very strong. Like Hot Red and Crystal Wing each are very good individual cards, and obviously, don't want to be staring down them, but they are 1-for-1 interaction. Whereas Levenir is a half of a rank 8, as well as a guaranteed take a random card from your hand, as well as a broken going second card, that kind of stuff. And then Brotor also has the extra utility of being the one that enables all the dumb FTKs and enable
it comes back, stuff. It brings itself back as well, use it again.
Grind game, all that jazz.
Like,
so I think Brotor's existence probably makes LP the one that I would like to see hit, but I'd still be happy with either, to be honest.
As far as I've not really been reading chat, go through chat, make sure I've not missed too much.
I think what we'll do quickly is we'll transition into start playing some games.
And
then we'll get into just general Q&A with chat.
So we have. I'm still running. I've still got this spiral deck that I bricked with 4 times last week. Hopefully better luck today. But
spooky. Okay, there'll be a minor earthquake. Give me a minute.
Alec is still sorting out his life. I will answer some questions in chat in the meantime.
this work?
So yeah, chat. Feel free to ask questions. We are just gonna play some games because we realized that Tolkien's our faces are not beautiful. Cards
sorry.
are. Magi decks are cool. They will continue to be cool and they'll continue to do stuff. But I think as like
Right.
people like kind of know about them a bit more, they become slightly less.
Any glare here? There's a lot of glare here. Let me see if I can get some lighting.
Thoughts on Gem FDK bubbling Fort Worth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lost round 11.
Yeah, I heard about this. I don't know what his list was like. I am a big fan of Gem FDK not doing anything because it's an FDK deck and it's not fun to play against. It's cool because it's a Gem Knight deck, but it's not cool because it has FDK in the name.
Yeah. It's a pretty good summary right there.
So
Alright, chat, let us know how that is. I can try and mess around with it more, but
do I think there can only be one is limit worthy? Absolutely, if they also limit Gozen and Rivalry, but they won't.
and
So
anti-spell and
yeah, like again, yes, but it's not gonna happen.
yeah, it's weird. Konami used to be a real stickler for hitting anything that even slightly floodgates, and then they just kind of like gave up halfway through.
Also,
So, like-
Vanity's Emptiness is potentially on the lost start,
Oh, no.
which is very, very scary. Like, OCG has Ding and Emptiness. Just ignore it.
Silly.
Is it fair to ask if Mermaid gets banned, can we have Rusty back? I personally think that would be fine, but it's not going to happen. They're not going to bring him back.
I think Rusty is still just a really good card. Like, the thing that we hated about when he was initially spoiled was the text cannot be used for a link summon, which at the time was devastating because we had a whole bunch of really good link 4s that we wanted to summon, namely Firewall Dragon and then Gunbar Dragon. Since then, we kind of realized that Rusty, just as a card, is just he is the payoff, or he is good enough payoff. Like, in the same way that we hate, or we don't necessarily like how easy Orcust is at just being any two monsters become a piece of interaction and a thing for next turn. Bardish's existence means any three monsters, at least one of which must be dark, suddenly becomes two pieces of interaction. And if he's probably guaranteed to get another useful card next turn. Because he can resummon with the trap and then use his effect again.
I think Bardiche is fine. I like good payoff existing, but 12.
I tried to grab 2 and I grabbed 3.
Less than 12.
Not 12. Less than 3.
Well, not less than 3. Don't you lie to me.
And stream feedback, why?
Turn off sound.
Okay.
Yeah. Other questions. If LV isn't banned, I'm playing Pendulum FDK. I don't even know what FDK is with that.
I don't know either, to be honest.
Yeah, so we'll display the hand.
Well, I mean, my hand kind of plays itself.
Okay.
So I'm going to do this.
Yes.
And I'm going to set some cards. I'm going to activate a Demise.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. They probably won't hit God Dragons because they still got to sell the dragon made things. 2 monsters. Oh boy.
2 Monster Cado.
Doro.
I don't play a lot of Monster Cado. I play a lot more Spell Cado.
Resort.
That's a good card. Yes.
Effect.
Yes. Yes, I've been thinking about whether I should be going first or second with this deck. In past formats, when I actually played this deck for a few regionals, it was much better going second because the decks just didn't really do anything. Like Salamangreat was the most popular deck, so you could happily play second. Nowadays, this deck really doesn't beat Orcust going second, so that's pretty good. Yep.
Effect.
Yep.
Yeah. For major events, how do you build stamina to play 9 rounds in a row?
Look after yourself is the short answer.
Yeah.
Like, if you eat 3 meals a day, make sure you still eat 3 meals a day. Preferably, make sure it's not just Mackey's and like venue food the entire time. If you can,
Like,
go get a bottle of water. Go get like a
go
sandwich
to
or
a
something
supermarket
from,
and
exactly.
like especially if you're staying in an Airbnb, like, and they have a fridge, just buy some lunch meats and whatever you eat for lunch. And I will look at the top 3 cards of Alec's deck.
Ugh.
So, what does Alec have here?
Power.
Okay, so theoretically, this is where we discover what Alec's deck is. I think I don't know how badly this glares.
Yeah, reasonable amount. These are non-gloss or matte sleeves.
I think we are gonna go for probably this order. I don't think it particularly matters, but I don't really know what he's doing. So I think we're just gonna keep that.
You and me.
And then we're gonna call Monster Cardo.
Hold up. I mean,
Okay.
we might have needed to do something here.
Okay. Might have needed to do something here. Sure. We'll let Alec play. Who is the best player in TCG in your opinion?
The best player in TCG.
Like, I would put Josh Schmidt up there.
Like it's really
But,
hard
like-
to argue with Josh Schmidt.
Yeah,
Like we were talking about this on the way back from Ghent, and like Tom and myself, and then to a lesser extent Seb, have been playing for a very, very long time, like pushing up to 10 years now.
I mean,
like
I've been playing for over 10 years.
yeah, but America doesn't count.
America doesn't count. Yeah, America doesn't count. Sorry, guys.
We've all been playing
Yeah.
competitive Yu-Gi-Oh for a very long time, and we've been going to like probably an average of 3 YCSs a year for nearly 9-10 years.
Yeah, admittedly, I've only been going to YCSs since 2015.
Schmidt has topped more YCSs than we have played.
Yeah.
Is unreal. Like, you just can't really argue with those kind of numbers. He's been to Worlds now like 4 times, something like 3 in a row.
Monster.
Yes.
This one. Yeah, but
Oh.
Schmidt is quite the quite the
He has been
player.
averaging 3 YCS tops, basically playing since the dawn of time. So
Man is very, very good.
yeah.
Which is
Sure.
very, very impressive.
Yep.
There's not much more to say than that, really.
Yeah. I mean, Raph Nevin is obviously doing very well at the moment. I'm sorry, I'm really not familiar with the American players, but there is.
I mean, there have been notable ones.
The previous UDS champion and the current UDS champion is Andres Torres. Is that-
Yeah, Andres Torres has been doing very well.
Yeah, he
obviously did
absolutely
well at
crushed
this YCS as well. He came 4th, so
Yeah, he has been on an absolute rampage, as well as the Sky Striker player that again I can never remember the name of, who has been on an absolute tear recently. But yeah, given the longevity of how well Schmidt has been doing, I think it's pretty hard to argue against him, or at least to not have him in your list somewhere.
this one. Yeah, so Schmidt, pretty good. Yes, that is fine. We'll, why not? Quick fix. So itself. Snack, Chainlink 2, quick fix 1.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, Jesse Cotton again.
Oh yeah, Jesse Cotton. Like, there are very good players in the game, but my number 1 of all time would probably have to be Schmidt, just because he's been around for ages and his level of consistency. Jeff Jones is another one of my like personal. I would have put him up there, but he's not playing Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. So
Yeah, unfortunately, he has moved on to Postures Ring.
yeah, which was very sad because Jeff is possibly one of my favorite, if not my favorite player of all time.
Yep.
just because he has always been very creative and very good at the same time, and that's something I've always enjoyed.
Yeah, and likewise for me, Billy Brake was like my hero when I started playing, and Joe Girlando was way ahead of what the current mentality was regarding Yu-Gi-Oh. Yep.
This.
Yep.
Effect. Just keep going, because why wouldn't you?
So Nick T, random story is round 2 of YCS Ghent on the 1-0 bracket. I also played against Gravekeepers, and so he goes first, and his extra deck is like in mismatched sleeves. I'm not even convinced there's 15 cards there, so I'm like, oh no, I've just lost the die roll with Pendulum against what's clearly a back row heavy deck. 2. Which is not good for your boy. And then his first play is the Gravekeeper search spell. I'm like, oh no. But then I'm playing Pendulum, so Necro Valley isn't really a card. Like most hands, it will turn off one card, but it doesn't turn off the deck. So I'm obviously not that displeased. And yeah, he dualities after playing Necro Valley and reveals one of the Gravekeeper monsters, which is irrelevant, and then goes Royal Tribute or the Counter Trap, and I'm just like, oh no, oh no,
Yeah.
And he takes the Counter Trap, and I'm like, oh, we dodged a bullet there, boys. He would have thoroughly Royal Tributed me for 4, and sometimes in Yu-Gi-Oh! You just have to accept your beats. You cannot prepare for every inevitability. Sometimes you're just going to lose the die roll and lose. Is the short answer.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
So this has been a very good hand for me for once in my Spiral career, which is fun. So I'm not really upset about it per se. This. Go away. Summon Sleeper.
Oh, he's a fiend, isn't he? Hold up.
Yeah. He is a fiend.
No, so you have nothing left in here. So I was completely looking at chat.
Okay. Yeah.
Alright, go back to...
Fuck. Alec. Okay, we're here.
Go back to the top.
Okay, sure.
There can be
Okay, sure. Think.
Yeah, my line this game was hope he dirtles enough to where he goes through all of his outs to there can be only one, and then there can be only one. And we're gonna see if that holds true.
Like, I have ways of I think not strictly losing here.
Good.
Yeah. So Zeph.
Yeah.
This. Find this.
Sure. Like, do you have a generic link 2 or 3?
Yeah, I have a Barricade Borg.
Sure. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, then find it from there.
Yeah, and then summon the sleeper.
Drew double demise and then demised into second demise 2 monsters. Was not the one.
Was not the one. And Spiral actually did what it was supposed to do for once. So for those of you who watched last week's stream and were wondering what Spiral actually does, that is what it's supposed to do, in theory. Like when it does the things.
Shane, no, don't say this. No. Awesome coverage. Seb will win.
I
tried.
Seb did win.
Seb won.
Yeah, believe it or not, I'm not the one playing striker cards. Alec is the one playing striker cards.
Traitor.
I am playing the combo deck. For major events, how do you prepare for unknown unknowns?
Yeah, that's the real trivia question.
You just kind of accept them sometimes. Like you can kind of figure out what the deck's trying to do in game 1 and kind of side as well as you can, especially if your side deck cards are not like necessarily targeted at a deck, but more at a like strategy, like a way of being.
A way
Like,
of
yeah.
being.
You know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're trying to say.
Um,
Yeah, like as you grow more familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh in general, then you will just run into more rogue decks, and as you sort of like, the more you invest in looking at new set lists and understanding tier 2 archetypes and stuff like that, the less unknown there will be. And then when you are deck building and when you're preparing for event, you will mentally decide what is the important part of this format. What am I trying to do here? What are the decks I'm trying to beat? Or what is my deck strategy that is going to ignore other decks, so I don't need to know what they're doing. That kind of thing. And realistically, Royal Tribute for 4 will not be part of that like mental process of deciding what to do with your deck, because sometimes you just need to take the bullet. Like,
sometimes it just sucks.
Go Second Striker isn't gonna prepare for being main deck eradicated when you are on Go Second Striker and you've decided that is the optimal build for the deck you think you're against in a YCS. So that's kind of my feeling on that. And then yeah, as you play the games, you will figure out what you're doing slowly but surely.
That is kind of how that works. Yeah, you do see a lot of people who, like, especially at regionals, you'll see a lot of deck profiles going, yeah, I'm just playing 3 evenly and 3 twin for rogue.
A lot of YCSs will do likewise.
Yeah, especially in Europe, you see a lot more rogue decks here than you do in America. America, like, actually likes to stick to meta. We're less strict about these sort of things. But doesn't mean to say that we never do that. But yes. So, Alex seems to have a lot of cards, and he seems to have more cards than he knows what to do with.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Why would you not start on that?
Well, because I already have it.
Oh, sure. Like, confused?
Dog text. Yep. No, I'm literally just trying to optimize how many draws I can get here.
Okay.
I should probably thin by the worst card.
Why would you not multi-roll first? Like, multi-roll
Because I want to do things in multi-roll.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. What do I know? Alec knows how to direct
We're
his striker.
going on an adventure. Alright.
A lot of wheels spinning.
That's a multi-roll.
Yeah. Oh, okay, sure.
Pop.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Draw 2.
Yes. I see.
That was one of the draws we were looking for.
That feels like you might have drawn a Draco Monster now. Pop is
No, I would love to draw a Draco Monster. I need to find any field spell, and I can't draw a field spell to save my life.
Okay.
Go.
Draw for turn.
Yes.
Terraforming seems like a good start.
Terraforming is a reasonable start, yes.
There are some unfortunate answers to this, particularly in the Striker Draco deck, but we'll try. Activate Resort.
Yep.
Resort effect.
Yeah.
Gonna do some drones as sort of stuff here. Drones.
I like the Draco Striker deck. I don't think it's particularly good in this format. Yeah, I think this is about as bad a format as we've had in recent times for this deck. Cosmic Cyclone is everywhere. Your Orcust matchup is really bad. Mostly just because Dingirsu Protect. You just can't beat the Dingirsu Protect part.
Spell.
Yes.
Yeah, for everyone.
Okay.
That is that.
That is Heritage.
That one.
Sure.
Yay. Not that was doing a whole lot, but we'll take it. And now we go on an adventure. Helix.
Yep.
Declare a spell.
Yep.
Funnily enough, that hasn't changed. Yeah.
Yeah, like normally I would play this deck going second and just play Demise and just pop all their cards. But I think there's too many really big combo decks. Your matchup against Thunder is really bad, and your matchup against Orcus going second is pretty mediocre. Again, Cosmic Cyclone really sucks. The counter trap banishing really sucks, and Dingirsu being on field protecting all their cards from destruction also really sucks.
Moth.
Sure.
Good. Effect.
Sure. I still draw on discard.
Yeah, you still want draw and discard. So I know you now have a trap on top of your deck. Not that it matters for the rest of the turn.
Sure.
But Jackalope.
Yep.
This one. Oh, you're really good at this. Jackalope effect. Running out of cards here.
Yeah, it's a tough life. Yeah, I think in a slower format, this deck would be much better. And as I say, when I actually played this deck at regionals, was fairly soon after Salamangreat had come out, and like 2/3 of the English regional player base was on Salamangreat, and you absolutely crushed that deck. That one I also would anchor. Oh, tag.
And then you anchor.
Then anchor.
Steel?
Yeah.
Sure. So that's really annoying for me because, well, I mean, obvious reasons. Play that. I have some things I can do now, though.
Guess like Kagari.
Yeah. So, I have ways of trying to play this out. Certainly, it probably starts with this Monster Born, or not Monster Born, Big Red, same thing.
Monster Reborn.
Monster Born.
Monster Reborn with upside.
So, probably a good chance that I do need to just
Clear as
now I know you have a trap. Target that.
Yeah.
There, because I don't theoretically know what it is. Alex showed it to me, but theoretically I don't know what it is. So we'll play Good Boy and then Lost Plan.
Yeah.
And this, and now we will keep going. We'll go ahead and use these because it doesn't really matter.
Horror stories about cheating, sharking. Yes. So I was playing on. This was YCS. Yeah, I mean, do that. This was YCS Lille or YCS Paris, one of the two. It was in France, and it was the last round of day one at the time, which is round 7. Events were much smaller back in the day.
Yeah.
And this was when Geargia were playing 3 wiretap, 3 7 Tools of the Bandit for the mirror match. This is like 2015, that kind of ballpark. So before Dewey had come out, before Shadows and stuff like that, when Geargia was one of the most popular decks, and Tom, myself, and our friend James Martin, we were all on. The deck was called Squiggly Mermail. So it was at the time, Patrick Coben was one of the best players in the game, and he had been a main advocate of all of the Atlantean cards other than Dragoons are bad. Basically, Mermail deck does not want to 1-for-1 trade with its opponent. It wants to have as many resources as possible, and it wants to use all those to kill your opponent rather than to destroy their cards, because you lose the simplified game state. And that had been the status quo for a while, and then Squiggly came around and said, actually no, all these Atlantean cards are really good. And we played Squiggly Mermail, and absolutely crushed all the Geargia decks, because Atlantean Marksman, really good against Geargia. So this was round 7. I was on table 1 playing against Max. I forget his last name. He plays for United Gussus now. The coolest guy ever. He's about like 7 foot tall. But literally the nicest guy ever. We had a magical game. He was playing World Prophecy. And yeah, I was playing Mermail, and he absolutely destroyed me. But on table 2, Tom was playing against a player who I won't name.
Playing bad.
who was a Swiss player, and this.
Yeah.
Why that?
Because I need you to summon your thing, so I can kill you.
Sure.
Actually, I should leave this. I'm gonna leave the nightmare. That's fine. Just ignore the fact that I'm playing like shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Tom had possibly the least, sure, the least fun game of Yu-Gi-Oh! He has ever played in his life, where there wasn't necessarily cheating, but yeah. But he was the most unpleasant player to play against that I have ever been in a room with playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, like, as I say, I was playing against Max. We had the friendliest game ever. We had a big hug at the end of it. It was magical, and I'd still write it as one of my least favorite experiences in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just having to sit next to this game that Tom was playing against this player. That was pretty bad. Cheating stories, I personally don't have many. I know that there are loads out there. Like, you get people that soft cheat all the time. Like, just knowing rulings gets rid of 90% of that. And there is the unfortunate hidden zone where you just never know whether people are stacking if you don't know what you're looking for, or you don't know mannerisms and stuff like that. So, have I ever been stacked? Probably. Have I ever caught people trying to stack me? Sort of, but not like to the point where investigations and bannings have happened. But it is one of those things in TCGs that just happens, unfortunately.
So YCS Milan round 9. So I was still very much in at this point. I bubbled Milan. I lost round 11 to put me on X3. Round 9 was...
Tom did not take it well. He was a broken man for a good few hours. It was very unfortunate. He was a delicate soul.
So my round 9 was against... so I was playing a Striker Mirror, and I was X1 at this point. And the guy was... I won't say very strong. But those of you in Europe might be able to guess. Hence, hint is Milan. And he was... So it was very close to time, and he was taking a sweet time. He made a lot of illegal plays. Like, just small things, like, I'm gonna make a nightmare with 2 things with the same name. This is a Striker Mirror, so this is literally 2 rays into Cerberus.
Yeah.
And things like that, and various, like, 2 rays into Phoenix, I mean, rather than Cerberus, and like, and another sort of that sort of stuff. All those kind of things.
I never remember where the safe zone is.
He tried to, like, just do a lot of illegal things, and it was great because there was a judge right there who was watching him do all these things and was picking up a lot of warnings, and the judge was not really assigning the warnings in the way that he should do, but he was at least telling the player off. It was just the end of the match, which was so long, and then I kinded him anyway. So no, this was pre-kinda. This was still a Hayate in his battle, his turn. Yeah, he couldn't dirtle enough in his turn, and I Hayate'd him in my battle phase because I got to Eagle Booster Hayate.
Yeah, like, an unfortunate truth about new time rules is you will run into situations at regional plus events where you're going to need to call over a judge and say, look, we're 3 minutes from time, my opponent's in their main phase 2, can you please watch our game? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's a thing which unfortunately is now just accepted just widely across the player base as just a part of Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's not a fun, it's not the fun part of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you wished it wasn't so, but yeah, that part is relatively status quo.
And it's not going away anytime soon.
Unfortunately.
Time rules are really bad.
Right, this on this.
Yes.
Engage.
Okay. I see how it is. You have used demise this turn. Yes.
Yeah.
That didn't just end up in there magically. A lot of cards in hand.
Don't you worry about it.
Poor Tom, he seems like a nice guy. See, he seems like a nice guy to you guys, but you don't know him for real.
Spoiler, he is a nice guy. Don't tell anyone.
Tom is lovely. Tom is very nice. If you haven't met him yet, I'm sure you will at some point.
If you go to any amount of regionals anywhere near the south of England and or Ireland and
Or any European YCS ever in your life.
Yep. You'll find us there.
Still trying to figure out whether we can ever go to America, but
Yeah. That's how it goes.
I did look at Las Vegas, and it's just the wrong side of half term. For those of you who don't know,
draw two.
I'm a teacher. So yes, but yeah, I don't think I've ever been like cheated, where I haven't immediately caught it and just called a judge and judge has done things, but it's never been like super blatant enough to where people get banned. It's just kind of been like the soft cheat where the judge comes over and goes, "I'm going to assign you a warning, but don't let me catch you doing that again," and then it just kind of doesn't happen. But yeah. Okay, so Alec has opened reasonably well here, but okay.
Go.
My hand is a lot worse than it has been in these games, but
To be fair, last game I would have crushed you. I had double Widow Anchor, and then you just happened to open Terraforming.
Yep.
I was like, my deck is completely crushed.
Yep.
I feel
So this time I have not opened the striker or the spiral field spell. I've opened this. So we're gonna start with Moth as the first of many dangers.
I guess I will Chain Maiden.
Yeah, sure.
Dynamite.
I see. Don't think this one's gonna go quite as well, but you know, he had a danger and he didn't hit the Moth. More importantly, so
Yep. Winning strategy.
Nessie,
Sure.
gonna keep going. Tree, the Nightmare, still doing pretty well here.
It's not bad. Like, things are happening.
Things are happening. Effect. Curious is really good, by the way. This card should be banned. Remember when they banned Lavalval Chain because sending any card in your deck to the graveyard was too good?
Sure.
Like, yeah, this is the same thing, but better.
But sometimes it mills your important combo pieces up the fact and you just lose.
That's not true.
So
these are lies.
We're praying for Mill Resort here.
Mill Resort has happened to me as a real sad. It's literally like the worst thing that can happen. 1, 2, 3. Those are actively good mills. Because we milled the spell card. And now we're gonna monster board.
Sure.
Use the effect to search the trap card. And now we think.
Yeah, we think.
Spell.
Sure.
It's unknown. It's a spell. This one.
This one. I chain.
I see. Yeah. Indeed. It's gonna be very difficult to play through all this. We've got a lot of stuff.
You have 3 in hand.
Correct. I have trois.
Maybe.
When is the ban list due? It's no sooner than a week from today. I wouldn't expect to see it until the following Monday, which is the Monday before YCS London, because Konami thinks that 5 days is the correct amount of time to give us a ban list before an event.
Factual.
Very factual. Has happened multiple times before. So I assume something got popped. That's very unfortunate. I was like, I get to hit the thing and then do the thing.
And then he did not thing.
Not thing. Not nothing. Not thing. Well, where's my Phoenix? Chainlink 1 Master Plan. Chainlink 2 Phoenix. Target this one.
Chainlink 3 Dynamite.
Yeah.
What results?
Yeah, we would like to believe that the ban list will come soon, but it will not. That would be far too good.
Yeah, who would play Draco in TKB?
Alvin also loves Draco, by the way. It is not just Alec.
Multiple Draco players.
Which is why you know we're a terrible team. Resort.
What was the monster you searched with Big Hair Chick? Papa Smurf.
Papa Smurf. Yeah, so...
And you already used Super Agent.
I use Super Agent. Correct. The most ideal situation is the list that comes into effect the weekend of YCS London. So, yeah, ideally they just announce the list before YCS London, and then, yeah, it's legal for London. I don't mind if it comes into effect on the Monday, but actually it'd be quite nice to have a week of locals, just where we can play, like, the new list. For those of you who don't know, ages ago, when we were still on, like, fixed rotation lists, they used to just announce the list, like, a long time before.
Yeah, we just had a quarterly list, and they were released at the same time every quarter. And the great thing was the OCG list and the TCG list were the same. We got like spoilers from them a little bit ahead of time, a little bit ahead of when we would normally get our announcement. So, sure. Yeah, so we actively knew our FNL lists like quite far ahead of when they would actually come into effect. Which means we get like at least one, if not two locals where we get to play with old list or a new list, even though it wasn't legal yet.
So
I would cry if Electromite was
tough. Spell wins spell.
Foolish Burial was very unfortunate for me.
Yeah, Foolish Burial was really good. I was just like, I have it, but I don't need to use it yet, so I'm just not going to. No, actually, hang on. I think I might have both of my targets in the graveyard.
Powerful.
Yeah, I do. Rip. So we're gonna not cheat.
Also, the really sad part is he blind spaced my trap out of all of my things. I would have had a lot more interaction if he did not blind space my trap.
So we're not gonna unicorn your last back row because that apocalypse has been used.
Yep.
That's the third one. Good. And then bring this back and search small. And then we can still make double helix. Good. Why wouldn't we? And there's no reason not to just summon this at this point because we got everything else. Add this. No, actually I have to guess with this, don't I? Because I shoved something away.
Sure.
Spell. Oh, we missed. Sad. I still think we just win.
Probably.
But
I'd be impressed if you don't. Like, you have a way of putting a monster on board.
I do indeed have a way of putting a monster on board. Do I want to banish this? Probably. Summon this. It's really unfortunate that I didn't search drones first with this, because then I'd be in a much better position. But I can just start doing this to make my Boral Sword. So we'll put this and then Nightmare target my sleeper.
Yeah.
Heart.
Yeah.
Symbols. Boral Sword.
Yeah.
Galatea Borals. Galatea do stuff. Boral Sword stuff. I would. Somewhere in there. So yeah. Spirals can be alright, as it turns out.
Yeah.
If they draw a playable opening. If there's a rogue deck where you can't play spells or traps and need to go second, how could you make it competitive? See last year's Thomas Rose BA decks. That is a lot of it. Is going second with Sekka's Light, no other spells and traps, Kaiju's that sort of generic stuff, make Moral Sword kill people.
I mean, realistically, the answer to that is like Grand Maju Punch. Like, you don't need to
Yeah,
play
you
the
can't,
Grand.
you can't play spells and traps.
But like, you can play just Sekka's Light Danger Punch, which was a very real deck for a long time.
Danger Punch.
They're really
BA
good.
still actually does it. It does. It makes Moral Sword. Yeah, and then you can play like Gizmex and stuff.
I'll get second.
Alex going second. Now I have to draw playable in 5 cards. It's a lot harder.
Chat, we finally found field spells.
Nessie.
I only drew like 12 cards last game, and still couldn't find a field spell.
That's unfortunate. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm getting better at it.
So I do want to do this.
Sure.
I do want to activate the effect.
Sure.
I don't really know where I'm going with it.
Okay, good.
Summon effect and
Shane, I had nothing at the time. I played Card to Demise. And yes, this is Spiral Orcust. It is.
Spiral Orcust is just another one of the many Orcust decks you can play.
But probably shouldn't.
I don't think it's any better than most of the other Orcust decks. Let's put it that way. But like theoretically, it's fine.
Like, in a world where you want to go second, there's so many good cards right now. Like, the Mech Knights are still really good in any Monster Mash deck, and you still get to play like Nibiru and a lot of hand traps. And the Crusadia engine is really good, including the fire guy who scrap dragons. And yeah, this is all fine. Yeah, then Dangers get to punch people in the face real good. There's a lot of going second stuff.
Oh yeah, there's loads. So much. Then
There's a current worry that I have where Konami will hit all of the going first stuff enough over the next, probably not this FNL list, but next FNL list, if we continue to not get like new good archetypes that define tier 1. That we'll start getting to the stage where no one wants to go first because there's nothing good left to do going first, and all of the going second stuff is good enough to where it will reliably just kill you through whatever you want to do.
So now we can do this and add our Super Agent, and then we make Appaloosa, because why wouldn't
You
you?
say is the most valuable time to interrupt Pure Thunder if you've gone first. If you have negation for Hawk, that is almost always the correct answer. And if you have negation for Thunder Dragon Fusion, then that is also almost certainly the correct answer. But
Staccato.
yeah. But if you're kind of blind and don't know what the constitution of their hand is, then usually you just try and negate every effect that they use from hand to try and keep them off the whole thunder thing.
Yeah. Thunder good.
And like the deck has real consistency issues, so honestly if you just like ash the first thing you see, then half the time that's good enough.
Yeah. That is.
Like you're always
not
ashing.
entirely
Like if they
inaccurate.
play Allure, then you're pretty much forced to ash it, because if you don't ash it, then you're probably gonna have to ash the dark that they banish with it. And if they Gold Sark for Roar, then obviously you're ashing that. And if they start with like Thunder Dragon and then try and like hawk it back, then you're obviously negating that. So typically against Thunder, it's linear enough to where you just use your interaction on the first good thing that you see. And that usually gets you there.
Yeah.
But then heavily dependent on what your deck is and how your deck interacts. It's like Orcust interaction is very different to Sky Striker interaction. Is very different to hand traps.
This should end on like a pretty good board. I've opened pretty much the nuts, so
Good.
let's deck is pretty silly when it really wants to be.
It does things.
It does do a lot of things. There's not always good things, but in this case it was, so it's fine. Yeah.
If you had to pick one big event to travel for, what would you guys suggest? I'm gonna assume that you live in the UK. We're all UK based. YCS London is always the best event of the year. If you are in the slightest bit a nerd, you will thoroughly enjoy Comic-Con. Like,
Yep.
the fact that you get free entry to Comic-Con, even if Comic-Con normally isn't your thing, just the ability to have a wander around for an hour or two just makes it awesome.
Yep.
Like, I'm not a person that would sign up for Comic-Con for 3 days or 2 days, because there honestly just isn't that much to do as a person who's never going to buy anything and not going to participate in any of the, like, actual events. But as a thing to do for a couple hours, even if you bubble or die day one or whatever, it does add a lot of value to, you know, to the weekend. So that's always the best one. And then if we're talking sort of European countries,
Oh no, I forgot to summon my sleeper.
I always feel like
That's what. Stream, don't do what I'm doing. I totally forgot to summon my sleeper.
NY is in New York.
Chat. It's fine. But yeah, somewhere along the line, this should have happened.
Gonna assume you mean New York. Yeah, if you are a US based player and would like to come to a European event,
London is the one.
realistically London is gonna be your one. It will.
It is definitely the.
It
the
probably
best
won't
of
be the
ones.
biggest event because the German YCSs are typically slightly larger.
Yeah.
But it will be the next largest YCS of the European calendar after the German YCS, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It's the one that gives you the most value for money. And you know, if you've never been to London, then London's a cool place.
London is a great place to be a tourist.
And it's a country.
Doesn't offer much else, but
it's a country that speaks English, which is of significant value if you're not a person that's particularly comfortable being, you know, on your own or with friends in a country where you don't speak the native language. So a lot of things going for it. Alrighty.
So
You done over there, buddy?
I am done. I did at some point forget that I needed to summon sleep before I started doing Orcust. You can ignore me. It could have been a legal summon, so it was a legal summon.
Alrighty.
So cheating horror stories, Seb on stream.
Seb El Monstro.
El Monstro. Yeah, European events, one thing that you'll find American players if you come over, you get a lot of different languages.
Yep.
Although all of the German players all speak English, so you're fine. The Dutch people speak better English than you do, so...
Yep. The English
You're
people
also fine.
just about speak English.
And then you just have to worry about the Italians, the French, and the Spanish, and other assorted nationalities, because Europe is a very diverse place, who sometimes speak very good English and sometimes struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
There have been language barriers, not for me, because I just speak all the languages, why wouldn't you? But other people have trouble, or so I've been told. But yeah, it's a very, very different feeling over here. No response. Yeah. Super Heavy Danger. Sure, why not? Super Heavy Samurai is a deck that I once wanted to make. Like. Yeah. Is there a reason not to?
Yeah.
Okay, so you found Ray.
Yeah. I don't have a good sound though, which is the problem.
Yeah. So yeah. So now you've actually seen what Spiral Orcust is supposed to do going first. This is like the ideal opening is like, I've gotten some extra cards here, but the ideal is kind of crescendo, and this, it's cool because it gets to Appaloosa before it makes its actual combo, so if they want to Nibiru you, they have to do it super, super early, and yeah, if they don't, you end on Sleeper Lost Resort, this. You just don't have the Appaloosa, so they've taken away one piece of interaction for their Nibiru. And if they don't Nibiru you, then you just negate it with Appaloosa. Got to go to Niagara and meet Dan. Will you guys be at London? Yes, we are absolutely going to London.
Yeah.
We're actually in London this coming weekend for a regional. But yes, we're going to YCS London as well at the end of the month. It will be loads and loads of fun.
I just don't do anything.
Okay. But yeah, Thunder Chaos. Chaos Thunder is respectable. It's unlikely to get touched in the ban list, but just the pure Thunder deck's probably the last one.
I think Thunder Chaos will be very good in a world where the Orcus decks are much worse.
Yeah.
I think at the moment it has the problem of just being the worst monster kill you kind of big combo-y deck. But in a world where Orcus isn't splashing everything, I would definitely be looking at Thunder as a very good archetype, and Leveneer in Thunder specifically in a
Very
format,
good.
yeah, in a format specifically where you don't reliably die on your first turn. You get multiple main phases.
It's very difficult to say what to build at the moment because we're waiting on a list and a set release. And sure, we know it's in the set now, so it's a lot easier. But you're still waiting on ban list, and then you just sometimes can't predict how cards impact the meta.
We're in
Miss
the
things.
Might just have to
Yeah.
wrap it up.
I think now it's time to wrap it up.
This format is
Yeah,
this is not the matchup that we're looking for.
So I have thoroughly thrashed Alex. So
Yeah,
it's redemption for last week where I bricked 4 times on stream with this deck. Literally exactly the same 40 cards. But,
There
it's
we
fine.
are. And next week maybe I'll win a game. So we'll
Next week,
see what we can do.
yeah. Who knows? Maybe.
Right. So thank you all for joining us. Next week should be just another regularly scheduled event, possibly with some interesting news to talk about. So hopefully
Tom should be back by then.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
for all of you who miss him,
as I say, Tom was in Northern Ireland this weekend playing a regional. So he spent the weekend with his missus and is traveling back currently. So that's why he couldn't be here with us. So should be back to the normal cohort at the usual time, the usual place. So hopefully we'll see y'all here. Y'all take it easy. We'll see you next time. Earthquake. And how do we stop it? Excite.